It was just lurking, I think, underneath the whole time, and I finally unleashed it, and it just felt right. It just felt like me. Not at all. No, no. It was fun to learn the few things that I did for the movie, and to try to get at least good enough to look passable on camera. But the guys who are really good at it, just a different league altogether. Well, he's a legend, and so to have him in a movie about this world, for one, he has a very, very good sense of humor about himself and about magic. But he also takes it very seriously. You know, he's essentially a historian and kind of the holder of the torch, as it were, in terms of modern magic. It was great. He designed a trick for us to do, he and his team, which we then did, and then we were sworn to secrecy as to how it was done. We had to sign a waiver. Um, so it was fun. I mean, it enriched that part of the experience because you felt, wow, this is legitimate. We got David Copperfield working with us on this. Well, one of the first days we shot, the first day I was in that costume, we were out on the strip, and I felt a little self-conscious. You know, the thing's cut down to here, and I'm all tan, and I've got the hair, and walking around Las Vegas, no one batted an eye. No one cared. No one even, it wasn't out of place in any way, shape, or form. So it didn't stir a lot of interest, which I thought was kind of funny. It was great. It was really fun. And obviously added that element of realism. There's a scene in which Steve and I are hanging over the Vegas Strip in a plexiglass box, and we really did it. You know, we were really hanging in a box over the strip by a crane. So you can't replicate that elsewhere.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I just am a huge fan of his, and he can do no wrong in my eye. That's the way I enter into it, because I remember I moved after college. I moved to Chicago, and I remember I was watching Ace Ventura for the first time, and it had just opened, so it hadn't even caught on yet. And there were three people in the theater, and with three people, that theater was full of laughter. I mean, I don't remember laughing so hard at a movie, and I just thought, I it's inspiring to watch somebody like that. So to be in a movie with him equals it's it's surprisingly normal. It's not like everyone's just doing bits and being crazy all the time. Somebody like Steve Buscemi or Alan, James Gandolfini, these are really Olivia, really good actors. These are people who are just do their character and aren't trying to necessarily be funny or say funny things. They're just approaching it as characters, which I think is the strongest choice. Because if it's going to be funny, it's going to be funny because, you know, it's all stemming from the character and the situation. Alan Arkin. I mean, ultimately, art is imitating life there, because I'd always been a huge fan, and then I met him on Little Miss Sunshine, and we got to work together. And then when we were doing Get Smart, I said, oh, can you please ask Alan Arkin if he could be the chief? And he did he did that part. And then in this movie, in my mind, there was nobody else to play the part of Rance than Alan. And it's one of those people, he's one of those people that you have these expectations, and the reality exceeds the expectations. He's just the best. He's a great actor, and I just get excited thinking of him as my friend. I really do. It's a big deal for me. Yes, I mean he's like kind of it. What I loved about what he did is that he could play a character that was incredibly broad, but you never got a sense that he was winking at the camera. He was always so invested in whatever character he was doing that you believed it. You believed that was a real human being, no matter how crazy. You know, Clouseau was such an incredible creation, because in other hands it might have just been broad comedy, but in his it was, you were rooting for him, and I guess what I loved most is that he was trying to retain his sense of dignity the whole time. don't know. When we've talked about it too, because when the movie opened, it was like 10 years ago that we shot the last one. And when the movie opened, it did well. You know, wasn't a blockbuster, but I think in subsequent viewings, and then it went on cable and on DVD, I think people found it later on. And somehow it became one of those catchphrase movies, I guess, that people introduce other people to, and other people started sparking to. I don't know. It's a phenomenon to me, but I can't wait to do it. And I was just there a few days ago rehearsing, and it's going to be insane. It's really going to be